Absolutely. Here's a powerful and deeply convicting opening for the speech, Find Your Why, written in the passionate, gritty, and emotionally intense style of Eric Thomas, designed to grab your audience from the first second and compel them to listen to every word. Opening lines style of Eric Thomas, listen to me real close right now. You didn't show up here by accident. You ain't watching this because you had nothing better to do. You're here because deep down inside, you know something's missing. You've been grinding, hustling, showing up, but you still feel that emptiness, that weight in your chest, that voice that keeps saying, there's more. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need another hype video. You need to find your why. Because until you know your why, you'll keep starting strong and quitting halfway. You'll keep waking up tired. You'll keep chasing success without feeling satisfied. You'll keep breaking promises to yourself, not because you're weak, but because your why ain't strong enough to hold you when life hits. I'm not here to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not here to entertain you. I came to challenge you. I came to wake something up inside you. Because I'm tired of watching powerful people live like they powerless. I'm tired of watching warriors walk around like they've forgotten who they are. You got purpose in your blood. You got greatness in your DNA. But if you don't find your why, you'll never tap into it. You'll live and die full of potential, but empty of legacy. So do me one favor, stay locked in. Don't scroll, don't skip, don't blink. Because this right here, this ain't just another speech. This could be the moment that saves your dream, that revives your fire, that reconnects you with the reason you were put on this earth. If you're tired of starting over, if you're sick of playing small, if you're ready to stop existing and start living, then keep listening. Because before this is over, you gon' find your why. You want to find your why, then you better be ready to go places most people run from. You better be ready to get uncomfortable. Everybody wants the blueprint, everybody wants the formula, but nobody wants to dig. Nobody wants to go deep. Your why, it's not sitting on the surface, it's not lying around waiting for you. It's buried underneath all the distractions, all the excuses, all the noise, and the only way to find it is to go through what you've been avoiding. See, most people are scared of the pain that comes with discovery. They want the crown, but they don't want the cross. They want the glory, but they don't want the grind. And I'm telling you right now, your why is forged in the fire. It's shaped in the moments when you want to quit, but you don't. It's born when you're on your knees, not knowing how you're gonna make it, and something in you says, keep going. That's when your why reveals itself. Not in the good times, not in the easy days, but in the struggle. Let me tell you something. You're not gonna find your purpose in convenience. You're not gonna find it scrolling through social media or listening to what the world tells you you should be. You gotta block out all that noise and look in the mirror. And I'm not talking about that cute mirror selfie version of you. I'm talking about the raw, real, broken version. The one you try to hide. That's the version of you that knows the truth. That's the version that holds your why. You gotta ask yourself the hard questions. Who am I really? What am I willing to suffer for? What am I willing to fight for when everything is stacked against me? What pain have I been through that was trying to teach me something? See, that pain wasn't punishment, it was preparation. It wasn't trying to break you. It was trying to build you. And if you keep running from it, you'll keep running from your purpose. Some of y'all keep chasing applause. You're chasing validation. You want people to like you. You want people to clap for you. But let me ask you this. What happens when nobody claps? What happens when nobody's watching, when nobody's cheering, when it's just you and your grind? If you don't have a real why, you'll quit right there. You'll fold. But if you got a real why, if you dug deep and pulled it out of the fire, you don't care who's clapping. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need an audience to show up. That's what separates winners from everyone else. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not who they know. It's that they found a reason that was worth the fight. A reason that made the pain make sense. A reason that made the sacrifice feel like a privilege. You want to level up. Then stop running, face the pain, embrace it. Let it do its work. Let it show you who you really are. Because when you dig deep, when you finally strip away the lies, the distractions, the pride, what's left is the truth. And the truth is, you've been chosen. You've been called to something bigger. You're not average. You're not ordinary. But you'll never tap into that until you're willing to suffer for the right reason. That's where the real ones separate themselves. They stop chasing easy, and they start chasing purpose. They stop looking for shortcuts, and they start digging. And I promise you this, when you find that reason, when you find that why, it changes everything. You don't need more motivation. You need revelation. You need to see what's really been driving you, and what's really worth your life. And once you see it, once you feel it deep in your bones, you'll never be the same. You'll stop looking for a way out, and you'll start building your way up. And from that moment forward, nothing and no one will be able to stop you, because now you don't just have a goal, you have a reason. Pressure is coming. I need you to understand that. Life ain't gonna back off just because you're trying to do better. Life doesn't care that you had a breakthrough yesterday, that you finally started working on yourself, that you finally found a little momentum. No, the moment you step into purpose, the pressure increases. The moment you start walking in your calling, the storms get louder, the distractions get stronger, the attacks come quicker, and in that moment, if your why isn't louder than the pressure, you're gonna fold. When you don't have a real why, you listen to the voices of fear. You listen to the voices of doubt. You start believing the lie that says you're not enough, that says you're wasting your time, that says you should go back to the comfortable life you used to live. That's what pressure does. It exposes the truth. It shows you what you're really standing on. Are you standing on hype, or are you standing on purpose? Are you showing up for likes, or are you showing up for legacy? That's why your why has to be unshakable. When the pressure comes, and it will come, you need something in you that speaks louder than the chaos around you. You need that voice inside that says, I'm not quitting. I came too far. I bled for this. I cried for this. I fought for this. That's what keeps you grounded. That's what keeps you locked in when everything around you is trying to pull you out. You don't rise under pressure just because you're talented. You rise because you've built your life on something deeper than talent. You've built it on a reason. There's going to be days when you don't feel like it. There's going to be days when the money doesn't show up, when the people don't show up, when the results don't show up. And on those days, the only thing that's going to keep you showing up is your why, not the paycheck, not the followers, not the approval, just your why. That fire in your chest that says, I'm doing this because it matters. That's the kind of why that carries you through seasons of drought. That's the kind of why that keeps you faithful when everything inside you is telling you to give up. People think pressure is a sign they're doing something wrong, but pressure is proof you're close. Pressure means you're in the right fight. Pressure means you're on the edge of a breakthrough. It means something's shifting, something's moving, something's waking up in you. And the enemy knows it. That's why the storm's getting louder. That's why the heat is turning up. Because if you survive this moment, if you keep pushing through, you won't just win. You'll transform. But you got Stop folding every time it gets hard. Stop treating your purpose like an option. It's not optional. It's essential. It's why you're still breathing. It's why you didn't die in that car accident, why you didn't lose your mind in that depression, why you didn't give up after that heartbreak. There's still breathe in your lungs for a reason. And if you let pressure be louder than your why, you're wasting that breath. You want to be successful. You want to be legendary. Then stop needing everything to be perfect. Stop needing everything to go your way. Learn how to perform under pressure. Learn how to praise even when it hurts. Learn how to keep moving when it feels like the whole world's against you. That's when your character is built. That's when your strength is refined. That's when you learn what you're really made of. So when the storms come, and they will, don't panic, don't retreat. Let your why speak. Let your purpose speak. Let your vision remind you why you started. Pressure will try to silence you, but your why will roar louder. It'll shout, "You can't stop me. I was made for this. I was built for this." Because once your why becomes your foundation, no pressure, no pain, no setback can shake you. If your why is all about you, I promise, it won't last. If your why starts and ends with your name, your comfort, your success, then the first time life punches you in the mouth, you're gonna backpedal. You're gonna take the easy route. You're gonna sit down when you should be standing, stay silent when you should be speaking. Because when the heat gets turned up, self-centered whys melt. But when your why is bigger than you, when it's about your family, your kids, your last name, your people, now we talking. Now we got something that can't be broken. Let me tell you something real. You weren't put on this earth just to take up space. You weren't born just to pay bills and die. You were given life because you've got something to give. And until you recognize that your life is connected to somebody else's breakthrough, you'll keep living below your capacity. Your gifts aren't just for you. Your grind ain't just for the mirror. There's somebody out there that needs what you carry. And every time you shrink, every time you procrastinate, every time you choose comfort over calling, you rob them of the blessing that's tied to your obedience. You think I show up because I feel like it. You think the grind is fueled by motivation. Nah, it's fueled by responsibility. It's fueled by knowing there are people I'll never meet whose lives will be changed because I didn't quit. That's what keeps me up. That's what gets me out of bed when the body's tired, when the emotions are drained. I'm not just working for me. I'm working because somebody out there is watching. Somebody out there is struggling. Somebody out there needs a blueprint, and I refuse to let them down. You want a why that keeps you alive in dead seasons. Attach it to legacy. Attach it to your kids. Attach it to your community. Attach it to something sacred. Because when it's just about the money, you'll chase the bag and lose your soul. When it's just about your name, you'll gain fame and still feel empty. But when it's about lifting people up, about changing lives, about being the one who breaks the generational curse, now your life has weight. Now your moves carry power. Some of you've been walking around with this hunger to succeed, but the fire keeps dying out because it's fueled by ego. You want to win so you can flex, so you can prove somebody wrong. That kind of fire doesn't last. You want to know what lasts. You want to know what burns day and night, what won't let you quit even when quitting feels easier. Purpose. When your why is laced with purpose, pressure becomes fuel. Failure becomes fertilizer. Delay becomes development. I know what it feels like to get tired. I know what it feels like to question yourself. But when your why is bigger than you, it'll remind you why you can't stop now. It'll remind you why you can't go back to who you used to be. It'll remind you that you didn't just come this far to come this far. You came to break barriers, you came to shift atmospheres, you came to change the entire trajectory of your bloodline. There are people attached to your decision to keep going. There are future generations depending on what you do right now. So stop playing small. Stop playing scared. This ain't just about your dream. This is about destiny. This is about making sure your children don't have to recover from a parent who gave up. This is about making sure your people don't stay stuck because you never stood up. This is about building something that lasts long after you're gone. Your why has to be so deep, so powerful, that it wakes you up in the morning and keeps you up at night. It's gotta be so rooted in purpose that even when nobody believes in you, you still move like the world is depending on you. Because it is. When your why is bigger than you, quitting is no longer an option. When you find your why, you don't play with it. You don't take it lightly. You don't show up halfway. You don't treat it like a hobby or a weekend project. You treat it like your life depends on it, because it does. This ain't just about chasing a goal. This is about committing to a calling. This is about locking in like everything's on the line. Because the truth is, the moment you discover your why, you're faced with a choice. Either you honor it or you disrespect it. And the only way to honor it is with full, absolute, relentless commitment. Too many people are casual with purpose. They talk big, but they move small. They get excited, but they don't get serious. They start strong, but they don't finish. That's because they think having a why is enough. Nah, finding your why is just the beginning. Now you gotta protect it. Now you gotta show up for it. Now you gotta put some weight behind those words you speak. You gotta back that purpose up with action, discipline, sacrifice. You gotta be all in. No excuses, no exit plans. The moment you treat your purpose like an option, you invite failure. The moment you allow inconsistency, you open the door to regret. You can't flirt with your calling. You gotta marry it. You gotta wake up every day and recommit to it on the days when you're motivated, and especially on the days when you're not. You gotta show up when it's raining, when it's cold, when you're tired, when you're broke, when the feelings ain't there. That's commitment. That's what separates the chosen from the crowd. You say you found your why, then prove it. Prove it by how you move. Prove it by the hours you invest. Prove it by the way you grind when nobody's watching. Everybody wants to win until it's time to work. Everybody wants to rise until they realize rising requires sacrifice. But the ones who win, the real ones, they commit like it's life or death. They put their whole chest into it. Their name, their time, their energy. They don't make excuses, they make progress. You gotta decide, are you interested or are you committed? There's a big difference. Interested people do what's convenient. Committed people do whatever it takes. Interested people show up when it feels good. Committed people show up regardless. Interested people fall off when it gets hard. Committed people keep swinging even when their arms are tired. That's how legacies are built. That's how greatness is born. Not in the hype, but in the hidden hours where nobody's cheering and everything in you wants to quit. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you rise to the level of your commitment. And the level of your commitment will always expose the truth about how bad you want it. You can talk about destiny all day long, but if your actions don't match your words, your destiny will never manifest. You'll live stuck in potential, and I don't know about you, but I refuse to live stuck. I refuse to leave this earth with my purpose still inside me. I refuse to let comfort kill my calling. The clock is ticking, life is moving, and if you don't treat your why like a priority, distractions will destroy it. Life will throw opportunities at you to quit. It'll throw setbacks, delays, disappointment. But if you've made the decision to commit, nothing will be strong enough to stop you. Not failure, not fear, not fatigue, because when your commitment is real, it becomes bigger than your feelings. It becomes stronger than your excuses. You owe it to yourself to go all in. You owe it to the people who believed in you, even when you didn't believe in yourself. You owe it to the younger version of you who dreamed big but didn't know how. You owe it to the future version of you who's counting on today's version to stop playing and start executing. So don't you dare back off now. Don't you dare treat this like it's optional. This is your moment. This is your mission. This is your why, and you either honor it or you waste it. Commit like your life depends on it.